What is Rocky's legacy? Sylvester Stallone wrote and starred in the first Rocky film in the 70s, and subsequently wrote and directed and starred in nearly 5 more films in the franchise over the next 30 years. What started as a story about an underdog proving his worth to the world and himself had 30 years to transform and become something else. And when the Creed series began in 2015, the Rocky franchise had to change again. They all have similar beats like a big fight and a training montage. But other than that, what are the Rocky movies about? The first Rocky movie I remember is Rocky IV. Some people might think it's a little too over the top or a little too 80s, but I love it. It has such straightforward storytelling. A little man must look within in order to defeat a big man. And even to someone who hasn't seen all of the Rocky films, Rocky IV made it abundantly clear how important Apollo Creed is to Rocky. Though it wasn't until watching the other Rocky films that I realized how important Creed was in the franchise. He's in the majority of the films in one way or another.
So do you think maybe it's like you against you?
It's your toughest opponent. Every time you get into the ring, that's who you're going against. I believe that in boxing, and I do believe that in life, okay?
Creed is such a great foil for Rocky. Where Rocky is quiet and almost seemingly unsure of himself, Creed is loud and filled with confidence.
Last time I took the fight too lightly and this man was just plain lucky.
And in the ring, Creed is the epitome of technique and excellence, while Rocky is more of an unrelenting slugger. One of the greatest things the series ever did was to give Creed's character some challenges in Rocky II. In some ways, both Rocky and Creed in the film are facing the same issue. Creed was one of the greatest heavyweight champions of all time, and Rocky's near defeat of him in the first film has questioned that. And Rocky only wanted to go the distance with Creed, but now has to live in a world where everyone thinks he's a hero, even though he just wants a normal life. Both characters have touched greatness, and are unwilling or unable to turn their backs on that, or watch their dignity fade.
You're like royalty here, kid. You want those guys to see you carrying towels and buckets around. Where's your dignity?
I'm not serious, just... I gotta be around it.
Having multiple characters to root for helps the audience not only relate to Rocky's dogged determination to not give up and be better.
I wanna know for the first time in my life, you see? That I weren't just another bum from the neighborhood.
It helps us root for the whole film.
That bum. You give me respect. It's hard for me to say these kind of things because that ain't my way. But if I could just unzip myself and step out and be someone else, I want to be you.
And if I lose?
And you lose. At least you lose with no excuses. No fear. And I know you can live with that.
How'd you get so tough?
I live with a fighter.
People think little by little we lose our friends, we lose everything. We keep losing and losing till we say, what the hell am I living around here for? I got no reason to go on. But with you, kid, boy, I got a reason to go on.
The Rocky series is full of characters and moments of people trying to be better, and in this respect, I think Rocky Balboa is the triumph in the series. In this film, so many characters have challenges they must overcome. The heavyweight champion, Mason Dixon, is living in a world without challenges, trying to find meaning for his skill and existence.
That's baptism under fire. When you get through that, you find the only kind of respect that matters in this damn world. Self-respect.
While Rocky has lost more than a fight, he's lost Adrian. And his relationship with his son seems to be deteriorating.
Whatever you're going through, it'll pass.
Little Marie doesn't even think she's good enough to be a hostess at a restaurant.
I don't want to try.
Yo, who put this stuff in your head?
Nobody.
And for all the hope and inspiration Rocky has given us over the years, it seems he's almost failed as a father to impart that inspiration and grit onto his son.
People are gonna think you're going crazy.
What's crazy about standing toe-to-toe saying, I am?
Rocky Balboa isn't just great because it has to raise Rocky up. It's great because it raises all of its characters up. There's a reason why its quotes are in countless motivational videos on YouTube.
It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done.
Because we're always going to need to come back to Rocky. And Rocky Balboa is the film that acknowledges that we'll get hit again. That there will never be a time in our lives where we don't encounter a struggle. And that when we do, we'll still have to try anyway. There's a kind of honesty to the Rocky films in this sense. Sylvester Stallone wrote the first film in part to be about unrealized dreams, but it was also a way to end his own struggles in the film industry. He was offered up to $360,000 for the script if he would not star in it, but Stallone refused.
Every day, I truly miss that character so much. I tell you, sometimes I could just cry because I'll never have a voice like that again where I can just speak whatever I feel in my heart.
It's in this fashion that Rocky speaks to the humanity in all of us. Despite his success from the Rocky films, Stallone still had a lot of challenges in his life. While writing the first few films, he had 2 sons and went through a divorce. Now, I don't have any interviews or footage to corroborate this, but is it a stretch to think that, for a character so personal, parts of the Rocky series touch on aspects of Stallone's life and struggles? Is it a stretch to think that, in Rocky III, Rocky's own struggle to maintain the eye of the tiger amid success is something Stallone felt too? Or is it a stretch to think that part of his speech in Rocky IV to his son is for his own sons as well, whose mother he is divorcing? Or how in Rocky II, all the children following Rocky in the street is Stallone's symbolic nod to the fact that he understands the responsibility he and the character have in inspiring future generations. When director Ryan Coogler's father was ill, Coogler watched Rocky with him over and over and over. This led to Coogler writing a script on how to bring back the Rocky franchise with Creed. But because Coogler hadn't made many films yet, when he brought the idea to Stallone, Stallone rejected it. After making the lauded Fruitville Station, Coogler brought Creed to Stallone again.
Now, either this guy here is just trying my patience, or he's reminds me of a guy I used to know. Then I realized this is not a movie for him. It's for his father. This is all about a love letter to his father.
In this sense, the Creed films are just as personal as the Rocky films, and solidify the Rocky legacy. Creed is about Adonis Creed. He is the illegitimate son of Apollo Creed, who died before Donnie was born. Donnie's mother died while he was young, forcing him into group homes, where he got into a lot of fights. There are so many beautiful little details to Creed. Like how when we meet Donnie, abandoned by his father and having lost his mother, clenches his fists when he thinks he's alone, and the only thing that unclenches them is when he isn't alone anymore.
Adonis, I would like it very much if you would come and stay with me.
Or how when Donnie, angry at his father, shadowboxes against him at the start of the film. In this moment, he's not just playing the part of Rocky, he's fighting his own fight against his father. And how sometimes it takes a mentor to guide us forward, away from our pain.
One step at a time, one punch at a time, one round at a time, one step at a time, one punch at a time, one round at a time.
Even though Coogler didn't write or direct Creed 2, it has just as many beautiful little details. Like Rocky 2, Creed 2 humanizes its villain, but only better. When Ivan Drago lost to Rocky in Rocky IV, Drago tells us he lost his country, his wife, and his respect.
Ever see stray dogs in the Ukraine? They go for days with no food. People spit on them, they have nothing.
Which means that his son, Victor, has lost his mother, his home, and is living as an extension of his father's pride. Victor has lost almost as much as Donnie has, and when Donnie finally beats him, there's a chance not only to feel happy for Donnie, but sad for Victor too. There's so many lovely echoes in the Creed films to the Rocky franchise.
There is no tomorrow.
It's all about today. There's no tomorrow. Let's go.
It's not just homage, it's a byproduct of being part of a legend. Rocky lays down a message of getting stronger, never giving up, and rising up to be something greater than you are. The Creed films try to apply Rocky's heart to a harsher reality. How do we go on when we come from group homes? When we get cancer? When we've lost our fathers? When we lose everything we know? When our babies aren't born whole? How do we teach our children not to absorb our pain if our parents weren't around to teach us how? There's so much more at stake in the Creed movies than some of the Rocky movies. But Creed isn't forging a path from nothing. It's built on a legacy. More than believing that we can be strong. More than believing we can be more. The Rocky franchise isn't just about overcoming adversity. It's about facing our demons. Because they'll always be there. And if we beat one, there'll be another. Even bigger, darker demons that will threaten to swallow us, no matter how strong we are, or what battles we faced or overcome. We'll always need the strength to face them, and the belief that they can be beaten once again. That, as we lose our friends and lose everything and ask, what the hell am I living for? That we'll have a reason to go on, to stay alive, and tell our loved ones that we'll never leave them, until we show them how to face their demons, how to fight for today, because we have to live like there is no tomorrow.